Morning, folks. Trying something a little different today. We'll see how it works. Today I wanted to talk some about happiness, where it comes from, where we should be looking for it, and taking a quote from Power of Now by Echkart Tolle. I'm going to read a little bit and then talk about some of my experience recently with this. This means your happiness and unhappiness are in fact one. Only the illusion of time separates them. This is not being negative. It is simply recognizing the nature of things so that you don't pursue an illusion for the rest of your life. Nor is it saying that you should no longer appreciate pleasant things or beautiful things or conditions, but to seek something through them that they cannot give, an identity, a sense of permanency, fulfillment, is a recipe for frustration and suffering. The whole advertising industry and consumer society would collapse if people became enlightened and no longer sought to find their identity through things. The more you seek happiness in this way, the more it will elude you. Nothing out there will ever satisfy you except temporarily and superficially, but you may need to experience many disillusionments before you realize the truth. Things and conditions can give you pleasure, but they will also give you pain. Nothing can give you joy. Joy is uncaused and arises from within as the joy of being. It is an essential part of the inner state of peace, the state that has been called the peace of God. It is your natural state, not something that you need to work hard for or struggle to attain. So, this is definitely a huge thing for me because I spent a huge part of my life looking to things and situations for happiness. And I've talked about this many times before, how prior to coming into recovery, I had ideas that happiness was contingent on me achieving something or acquiring something or getting to a certain point in life or doing particular things in my life, getting particular accomplishments under my belt. And that came to personal relationships, it came to work, it came to all these different things. And, when I came into recovery and I stopped thinking about that as much and started to live a little bit more in the moment and really focus in on more, well, let's not worry as much about what I can get, let's just worry about what I do in the next, few minutes. Then all of a sudden I started to find some of the frustration, some of the difficulties that I had were starting to go away. And that's really what he's talking about here, is that when we're focused on things, when we're focused on getting, when we're focused on finding happiness from an outside source, we inevitably are going to get frustrated. And this comes into things like having expectations for how things are going to happen. It gives us a sense of control that's an illusion that we don't really have. And this came up for me this week when we were having all sorts of issues with power and had been without it for going on 48 hours. I told myself, well, I'll be fine as long as the iPad still has power and we can still watch videos on the iPad. And I had to stop myself there and say, well, what happens when that goes away? Are you going to be upset? Are you going to be frustrated? And I had to break it down, and at every step I would say, well, I'll be happy if we still have food in the fridge or in the pantry, for example. Well, what happens at that point, if you run out of food? And you keep breaking it down until you get to a point where you can say, you know what, I'll be happy as long as I can sit and breathe and just strip everything else away and say, you know what, forget everything, forget all the things in life. All I need is what I am, which is just to be. And it's something that has been important to me to realize as I go through this journey, and as I kind of get away from the mode of acquiring things and consuming things, and more into the mode of just trying to be in the moment and really being cognizant of what I'm telling myself I need in life. I find a lot of times that I tell myself I need things that I don't really need. I find myself telling myself I need something to be happy when, I don't need anything to be happy, because happiness doesn't come from things outside of me. It comes from within. So that's what Tolle's talking about and what I read this morning. And it has been something that's been critically important to me to realize and recognize on this journey, so that I can stop looking for happiness on the outside and stop looking for happiness in general, and just be and let things be and let myself be wherever I am. And once I can do that, then I find myself not necessarily even happy, but at peace. And that's where I want to be in life. I just want to be at peace, And so, anyway, hope you all have a wonderful Monday. Let's hope that this week is a little bit more normal than last week, whatever normal counts for these days. And I hope to see you all